Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 150 something. I can't remember what the
I
number
think it's
is.
169.
Oh, one.
169.
Okay, 100. Episode 169. Tonight we're talking about lambics and gooses. My guess
Wait,
is that very few people are going to have any gooses tonight. So it's by default, it's a lambic night here at Craft Beer Nation. Before we get started, I want to remind you that you can find us on find our Pints and Quarts podcast on Stitcher, iTunes, any feed burner, whatever, or however feed burner works. I don't use feed burner. I just use Stitcher. Anyway, you can find our podcast on this past Thursday. Yesterday, we had Foothills
Thank you.
Brewing on last night. So check it out. Find out a little bit about Foothills and buy their beer if you see it, if you happen to be in their distribution footprint. So introducing our cast, I'm gonna go from my left all the way across. We got Charles Dunkley from the Empire State. Charles, how are you?
Doing pretty good, Randy.
All right. We got Gil Mello coming from the Keystone State. Gil, how are you?
I'm doing awesome.
We got
Everything is good.
We got Freddie Rodriguez coming from the I don't know Massachusetts,
Boston.
the Boston state. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the state of Boston.
All right. How you doing, Freddie?
I'm doing great, man.
We got Linda Dean coming in from, I'm guessing, maybe the Beaver State.
The Beaver State? Yes, the very hot Beaver State.
Is it really the Beaver State?
Well, yeah, it is the Beaver State. It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I took a stab in the dark.
We've got the best beavers here. It's quite fantastic.
Cool. How are you doing, Linda?
Hot.
Yeah.
Fantastic, but hot.
Well, hopefully this lambic will help cool you off a little bit. And
I'm one of those few goose people.
Oh, okay. And we have Lola. Oh, Linda, earlier I thought you said you had a goza, and I was like, see, Charles, Freddie, you're not the only one off south.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lola, we have Lola coming in from the Sunshine State.
And it has been. It actually hasn't rained in a few days. For a while there, it was raining every day. So.
I wish we could get some heavy rain here. I won't have to turn the sprinkler on in my yard so much.
I'll push it your way next
Do
time it
that.
happens.
We'll take it with open arms. So, again, and I'm coming to you from the Commonwealth of Virginia. Again, we're doing lambics and gooses. We're gonna start with Charles. Charles, Chuck, Charlie O, Chaz, Charlie Murphy, Charlie Dunkley. What are you drinking? What are you drinking tonight, Charles?
Charlie Brown. That's all I have.
I have two. They are Lambic X.
Oh,
This is the 20 bottle, brewed in 2011, bottle 2013.
is it lambic X or is it supposed to be lambics?
I don't know. I pronounce it Lambics, but I was looking at different people online, and one guy says Lambic X, the other guy just says Lambics. So I have no idea.
Okay.
I haven't
It's a
found
mystery.
anyone from this source pronouncing it. So, but these are actually hand-picked by the Don Feinberg, who was one of the co-founders of Omegang.
Okay.
They were like one of the original like Belgian importers. He originally started that import business first before just opening up Omegang and brewing his own Belgian beers.
Mhm.
And this is a special series that he does where he hand selects these particular lambics that go into these bottles.
So wait, is that beer brewed at Omegang?
No, these are brewed overseas.
Oh,
And he
okay,
goes
okay.
over there and he does some of the brewing himself, from what I've been reading.
Gotcha.
But everything that's in these bottles is hand selected by him and blended by him to make
Okay.
these specific beers. And I got the regular Lambics version, and I also got the Kriek version with the
Okay.
cherries.
Nice, yeah.
Both same year. This is the first time they've done the Kriek.
I'm not so sure that I've ever had a lambic that didn't have anything in it. Maybe I did. Maybe Gil, when we were in CB and Raleigh and we had that Cantillon, that wasn't a lambic. Yeah, yeah. No, wait. I don't know. You're muted.
What?
You're muted, Gil.
Yeah, we can't
Oh,
hear you.
sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, traditionally, lambics have fruit, but not necessarily. I mean, like Kriek, it's when it has cherry.
Hmm.
Framboise has raspberries. Peach has peach,
Yeah.
and the cassis, like lambic cassis, I think has blackcurrant and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So it's that's traditionally how they're known. I don't think that one. Well, I will Google and I will get back to you.
No, I'm talking about the one we had at Con.
Yeah, the Cantillon. I will Google the Cantillon.
All right. So Charles, you're the first one that you're drinking. You said it doesn't have it doesn't have fruit in it, right?
Yeah, no fruit, and it's not a what is it, geese or goes, however you pronounce that, by the looks of it. It's just a straight lambic.
Okay.
And these, I opened both at the same time and let them breathe for a little bit. The regular lambic, it just punches you in the face with that. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a big, funky, nasty, smelly, almost like a slight hint of diarrhea.
Oh my-
Almost in a weird way.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
when you first, and that's when you first open it. It really goes. You're like, what in the world is that? That is,
We're writing Budweiser's commercials for them.
yeah,
It's like
but
scent of diarrhea.
that's just that initial puff out of the bottle, and then it mellows out. It's still very funky and earthy and barnyardy, all those kind of things. But and it's super, super tart and super dry. Like dries my whole inside of my mouth out when I drink it.
So
The dry sounds fantastic.
it forces you to take another sip.
Yeah, and this is it's kind of cloudy, but I don't see anything necessarily floating around in it.
That's nice.
And this is the Kriek version with the cherries.
Nice.
Ooh, that's nice color.
So you want to do a quick side by side, or you want that Kriek to open up a little more?
Well, I've tasted both of them, but I want to let them sit for a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, this one's also very dry. What I like about it is it's not super sweet.
Hmm.
The only lambic I've ever had was the Lindemann's, the apple, when we did
The
this
palme.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the palme. And I didn't really care for it too much, but I wanted to branch out and try something completely different. And from looking at these, they seem kind of, you get a traditional lambic and then you get the Kriek by someone that's the Omegang, or Don, who used to own Omegang, I guess. His passion has always been Belgian beers. But I'm going to let these sit and warm up, and I'm going to come back to them, and I'm probably going to blend the two of them together just for fun, just to see.
Science.
It's a tough style for some people, man. I mean, because it's almost like you're either okay with it or you're not. I mean, especially when it comes to the framboise, with that heavy raspberry. Well, I guess all the fruited ones kind of have that really heavy fruit flavor. So, if your palate is more suited toward, I guess, beer in not the traditional sense, but not as fruit forward as these are, these lambics with fruit in them can easily be overwhelming to you.
Yeah, I would definitely advise someone go with like a Duchess or Monk's, something like that to introduce yourself to the sour before you then move over to the lambic.
Yeah, the problem with the unblended one has a little more tartness, and I think those are nice. For me, the lambics with fruit addition get a little too juicy. It's not even, you don't even get any sours in a beer at all anymore. It's just, yeah.
Carbonated.
Well, that's why I like this one so far. It's not like like you go to the store and you get like a grape juice where it's all super sweet and sticky.
Mm-hmm.
This it has the cherries in there, but they're not like overpowering and sweet. It doesn't taste like anyone like dumped a bunch of sugar or anything into this. You get that flavor, but it's a nice complement to the Lambic. It doesn't overpower it and turn it into like a soft drink or anything. Like the pommet I didn't really care for. It was much too juicy and sweet for me.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I remember it.
Okay. Gil, what are you drinking, man?
Yeah, I'm drinking the pommet. I have to rush the store. That was the only thing they have. And you guys know how I feel about Lindemans. I try to like them. I try to think I want to support them, but it's just with the. And it's not personal to them. It's my personal taste. Like the pommet is the apple one. I mean, it has a nice color and everything, but this is basically what I'm drinking is apple cider. It's that sweet, that apple kind of juice thing. I mean, their hop or malt flavor is non-existent on this thing. It's just a sweet drink. And I almost grabbed the Kriek, but I decided to try the pommet just to give a shot at it, and it's just not. It's not that good, It's not, and I can't remember which Cantillon we had at that specific day there, and I don't remember if the unblended was the Cuvée Moedor, which was a Gose. I wish I wondered, because that to me is a good lambic. I mean, we got so much flavor, so much stuff on that beer, and this is just juice, apple cider, in a big bottle.
Yep.
And that's it.
Expensive bottle,
Yeah.
$7.
Yeah, I don't know. Lambics are, I think, when they have fruit addition, as I said before, just steers away from me. I think the cherries are the only fruit that I actually like on Lambics.
Does that taste like artificial to you at all, or does it taste like? Because I know some of that same companies, like sometimes like the framboise, like very like almost like a syrupy sweetness to it, Like it's
and I know a lot of I don't know about them specifically, because I know a lot of people use the syrup, sugar syrup to do, but this might as well just have used the apple juice, and then just let it ferment it. It's just. Yeah, it just tastes like apple cider.
It's like I don't. Well, you probably can't tell just from the taste, but is it like a green apple or like a red delicious apple, or just generic apple?
In the beginning, you get a little bit of just the generic taste of an apple cider, but then you get a very very little tanginess that you get from the green apple when it's kind of still green, that you get a little bit of that, so it would be more on the green apple kind of a.
Granny Smith, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to beat on breweries, but I haven't had. That's the fourth different beer I had from Lindemans. I have not liked any of them, so that's all I have to say.
Well, I mean, that's. I mean, you can bag on them all you want. Right? I mean, that's not to say that they make bad beer. Their beer just doesn't agree with your palate, right? So, I mean, nothing wrong with, for lack of a better expression, bagging on them and saying how you feel about it. Nothing wrong with that.
No, to be fair, I don't drink that many lambics, so I'm no expert. I just telling what I feel about those specific beers. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Totally legit, man. Hey, man, embrace your feelings, bro. Don't hold it back.
If I was smart, I would have bought a smaller bottle, right? But I'm not that smart.
Hey, pinch your nose and let it rip, bro.
That's right.
Ready?
So,
what's in your glass? What's in your wallet?
Tonight, I am very much off style. I'm drinking a local brewery here called Night Shift Brewing that I believe Randy has gone to as well. His trip to Boston. This is a can. It's almost gone anyway. It's their Chantilly. It's fairly new. It's their IPA, 6% ABV, and it's excellent. It's really good. It's very, very tasty. A lot of tropical, like, you know, the typical kind of like that. I hate to kind of categorize the East Coast IPA compared to a West Coast IPA, you know, so it's not as piney or like that bitterness up front. You know, it's a lot more like you get a lot of these, like, you know, because the hops are using, you get a lot more. It's more tropical. You know, you get a lot of the fruit notes coming at you. That's what basically it is. But it's got a good malty like backbone to it too. You know, so it holds its own. It's really good beer.
Can I digress just for a second from Lambics, because you said East Coast and West Coast IPA.
Yep.
I think when I first got into craft beer, I was, when I got into IPAs, I loved the West Coast style of IPA. I love that upfront, punch you in the face hop profile.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I still do, but I think that the breweries on the East Coast had to differentiate themselves from West Coast IPAs, and I think they do a better job of concentrating on the hop flavors as opposed to hop bitterness on East Coast IPAs, and I can really appreciate that sometimes, man. Like, there's this brewery down in South Carolina called Coast, and they make this beer called Hop Art, and they have a dipper version called I think it's called Boy King or something like that. And like when I had Hop Art, it was like, this really was like an art what they did with all these different hops. Like they just wove them so well together. But on the West Coast, you drink a big West Coast double IPA or an IPA, and you just get, boom, you get smashed with bitterness, and that has its place. But I think it's good that, you know, it's good when you can kind of have the ability to appreciate both styles, and I think that there is a clear delineation between East Coast.
Definitely. You can definitely. The palate definitely distinguishes. So
I think I like the on your face hop from the West Coast IPA, but I like better nice IPA with a good backbone, like a good malt backbone. I like that maltness, you know, to finish the beer.
Agreed.
And that's what I think is good about this Chantilly by Night Shift. You know, it's got the I think the malt profile definitely, you know, holds its own, but you get a lot of that, like that East Coast kind of IPA, you know, up front real quick. You know, you get a lot of that those tropical notes, the passion fruit, the mango, you know, a little bit of that pineapple taste, and then you get a little bit of the bitterness and the malt kind of like seems like a biscuity vibe to it. It's well done, and like Gil was saying.
Freddie, you're making my mouth water.
Well, Linda, tell us what you have to satiate your thirst on these hot Beaver State days.
I shall have to do my best with this. This is a Laurelwood Goza the Gozerian. I love their names.
Like the name.
It's awesome. Yeah. Laurelwood has some of the best names. You know, when I take a first sip of this, the first thing I get is salt. Now, I have to admit, it's been over 100 here for a couple of days now, so it could just be because it's really hot.
You need the salt.
Yeah, but the salt in this is actually mined from Oregon, which they make a big deal out of, and it's not as lemony as I usually associate with the Goza, because they're putting the lemoniness in with the hops instead of adding anything else, which I know other breweries sometimes do with their Gozas. And the hops that they're using are Sterling and Lemon Drop. I love that. It's really fantastic.
My first experience with Lemon Drop was in Stone's Delicious IPA.
Yep.
So I like that beer, so I'm sure I like that hop.
Yeah, it's just say. I mean the hops are the hops and lemoniness is you know kind of in the background, so the salt and the slight sour just kind of shines through.
So you're drinking a Goza. Not a
Goza.
Not a Goza. Not a goose.
Not a goose, a goza.
Oh, goza.
Okay, gotcha.
As far that's what they're describing it as. So
Okay, because a goza, as Gil typed earlier in the side chat, goza is like a salty sour beer, whereas
yeah.
a goose is
It's
more
a mix.
it's a lambic, right? Yeah, go ahead, Gil.
It's just a mix of an old aged lambic to a new lambic, like in a different ratios. So they make a lambic that's just fermented, just ready, and mixed with an old aged lambic. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because there are people over there who brew the wort for the lambics, and then there are others who all they do is they take them and they blend.
The blend,
So
yeah.
It's interesting how you have some who do all of it, but others they specialize in different steps in the process.
Mhm.
It's pretty interesting to read about.
And I'll say this, goza, Gose, goose, Geuze, Geuze. One of the more popular gooses is a Cuvée Rene.
Mm-hmm.
I see Gil's like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like,
Really?
I have not had that one yet.
I don't like that beer at all, man.
Well,
But-
Cuvée Jacobin's another one that is
No,
really,
that's
really
not
good.
that one.
That's really good.
That's a really good beer, yeah.
I
Jacobin.
meant that when you said Cuvée Rene, I was thinking Cuvée Jacobin's. That's the one that I was.
Okay, because
Now what does the word cuvee mean? Doesn't that just mean cucumber?
no, Cuvée is Lord, you gonna put me on the spot, girl. Let's see. We got the whole world at our fingertips, right?
I said exactly vat or tank. It means it's a French word for vat or tank.
No, I think Cuvée means blend, mix, like it's a blend of something.
No,
Yeah,
it's French.
it's a
No,
blend.
it's
French,
French.
yeah,
It's French, like Freddie said, for vat or tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
But
that
also, it has still multiple meanings. That's one of the things, but it also is a type of blend or
The word
particularly used
Cuvée
in wines
means
like
it's
champagne.
blend.
Like champagne is like a cuvee, I guess, style because it's blend.
okay.
It's a word for wine when you blend different grapes. For
Like
example.
all those red blends I get at Target. I don't know what they are. They just say red blend.
Right, I just said red grapes. Okay, so here you go. According to Merriam-Webster, two definitions: bulk wine, especially wine in casks or vats, so blended as to ensure uniformity and marketability. And number two, a blend of still wines used in the production of champagne. So
Okay.
vat meaning wines in casks or vats. So what Freddie said. I mean what Charles said. Kind of
That's
both.
two things I've learned today.
Double meaning. But the Cuvée Rene, isn't that made by Lindemans?
It's the one with the pinkish label, I think, right?
No. It has a gold label, I think.
Let's see. Cuvée.
A
Let me see a
gold,
picture.
a gold label. And that one, man, whew, that's not for me. I'll tell you that. But nonetheless, Lola, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm not in a diabetic coma yet.
You know what that means. I know what you're drinking.
You know what? I would like to say that I got to go to Total Wine and got, the choice of 1,000 different lambics, but it's not true. I only had one store to choose from, and all they had was lambic, framboise.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, I used to love this beer. When I was first getting into beer, I loved this because it was so sweet and, not bitter at all, and, it was juicy juice, basically. Of course, now that I've been drinking other beers and I like a little bit more, I don't know, body to my beer, now it's a little bit too sweet for me. So I tend to blend it with something. And the funny thing is, I got another beer that I was going to blend it with, but y'all made the great point that it's probably I don't know what style it is, but y'all said it's an IPA, so I don't know. So when I started thinking about blending an IPA with this, well, I have an open High Life because I got a 6-pack of High Life because I love High Life. So I think I'm going to blend
Don't do it. Don't do it. Reconsider.
Yeah. Although the I think it's a black IPA. It's a double black. I think it's because of the Planet Color series that they did there.
Lola, you know what?
What?
Go for it.
YOLO.
Yeah.
You only live once.
Do it.
Do it.
I don't want to do the Uranus one because I haven't had it and I want to be able to taste it on its own.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna do High Life.
So here's what you do, Lola. Just mix a little bit. Don't just yeah.
Let's see. Will they combust? Will it float?
That's right. Go. Yeah. Go home.
That's a lot of head.
Got a nice 5-finger head.
Yeah.
I know. I was not meant to be a bartender. I am not a great pourer.
Now, Lola, when you say you want more body, are you talking about?
Hey, I didn't laugh at Beaver State.
God.
Sure.
Oregon, home of the beavers.
When you say you want more body in the lambic, do you want a thicker texture or do you want more complexity in it?
More complexity. Now that I'm drinking other beers that have more than one note to it, this has one note, sweet. And, I'm looking for a little more in my beer now. And so probably haven't had this in a few years, whereas I used to drink it all the time. So now when I drink it, I like to mix it with things. It's almost like, it's just a mix like you would with a drink. I'm like, let's see what I'll put this with today.
On with it.
All right, I was waiting for that to go down.
Don't baby it.
Whoa. Not a success.
Well, the first thing, do you like black IPAs? Don't blame the lambic yet. Did you like Uranus?
No,
she didn't
like
have
the
Uranus.
Bell's beer better. That's the question.
It's not the Bell's beer, I don't think, is it?
I did. I decided not to open the Uranus.
You went with High Life.
She went with the Cigar City.
Because I have a 6-pack of High Life, and I love High Life, but I already had this open. And since I already had this open, rather than opening the one, that I've never had before, I decided to leave that one alone. So I mixed it with this. And
Lola, this might be the first time somebody mixed a IPA and a lambic.
Unless while sober.
How long has that High Life been open?
About 2 hours.
That might be part of the problem.
No, I mean I can drink this all day long. Look.
But it's lost a lot of its volatility.
You might want to get a cold beer.
No, it's good. I like it.
The beer gods. Ninkasi is like turning on her holy thumb there, whatever.
Lola goes out with her friends and be like, we don't need no cooler.
No.
I just do it like this.
Like, go grab that 6-pack out the trunk. Let's pop that bit.
Hey, I'm prepared no matter what.
Open that bloody beer. What are you, a baby?
Yeah.
I know. What do you gotta wait for it to cool? What the heck? That's what. Give me some ice in it.
I like my stouts at about 95, 98 degrees.
All she needs now is to give a good shake before she opens, right? And then get all spilled out.
Well, I have to give Lola props for being experimental and adventurous.
Exactly.
Lola be like, put that beer in that skillet, bring it to a nice simmer, and then.
Look, I'm in Florida. Everything turns hot. You bring it out of the refrigerator and it's immediately 80 degrees. So.
That's not true because we know Jeff Daves and haven't turned him hot at all.
All right. You call him frigid?
Jeff is not hot. Jeff is not hot.
He's not. No.
We love you, Jeff. We're just kidding with you, man. All right. So Lola's IPA lambic experiment failed.
I'm still drinking it.
Yeah. Well, you still drinking the High Life too. So.
I'm a trooper. I'm a powerhouse.
So Lola, your overall thoughts on that Lindemans is, I mean, I know you like that beer, right? So
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have any quarrels with it, right?
No, it is what it is. I mean, It's sweet. It's not something that I drink often anymore, but it's good for what it is. If you want something really sweet, then that's what you want to drink.
Cool. I'm drinking a beer from Castle Brewery out of Van Hazenbroek in Belgium. This is their Saint Louis Framboise. This kind of reminds me of the Lindemans Framboise, with the exception of it. I don't think it's as sweet as the Lindemans. So that makes it a little obviously less cloying, and it's a little easier to drink. I have no idea what the ABV is because they left that off the bottle, but I'm gonna guess somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 or perhaps a little less. It's actually from a Belgian family brewery. Nonetheless, the style is what it is. It's a good beer. You get plenty of raspberry flavor if that's what you're looking for. Perfect beer for people who say that they don't like beer. A framboise, typically a flavored lambic, is a style that I always go to if I'm with somebody who say that they don't like beer. And I'm always like, well, you just haven't chosen the right beer yet. And I'm like, I guarantee you, I can get you a beer right now that you'll like. And they're like, whatever. I'm like, framboise, please. And 9 times out of 10, they usually end up liking it, because when people think of beer, this right here, when the non-beer drinker thinks of beer, this is the last thing that they think of. And I'll hold it up to the camera a little bit. It's like
it's beautiful.
It's like
a good color.
Like a dark
Black
ruby.
cherry.
Are you getting any tartness from the cherries at all?
Very little, like, tartness. Yeah, on the back end. It kind of gets you here just a little bit. Not aggressively at all, but just enough to let you know that not cherries go from raspberries. Just enough to let you know that you are drinking something with raspberry in it, right? Because raspberries can kind of have that little tart thing going on with it too. But it's a pretty beer, like I said, dark, like a garnet or maybe like a nice ruby color.
What color again? What was the other color you said?
I'm ignoring Gil. I said garnet, okay?
All right.
Like this right here.
Just checking.
Like that right there.
It's not purple.
Garnet. So yeah, I've seen this beer in the store several times. I'll always pass it up because for me, I kind of gotta be in the style in the mood for a lambic. I'm not just gonna go to the store and be like, "Ooh, lambic, I'll try that." That's probably not gonna happen. I do, however, wish that I had picked up the Leafman's Cuvée Brut. That's the one. They have 2 beers. One comes in a bottle wrapped in blue paper, which I think is a sour brown ale that they make, and then they have the one that comes wrapped in red paper, and I think that's their lambic. It might be a cherry.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a Kriek or not. What's that?
It's probably their Kriek if it's got cherry in it.
Right. I think
But
that's what it is.
that's not Lindemans, right?
No.
Lindemans.
Did I say Lindemans just now?
I thought you did. Or Liefmans, right?
Is
That's
it Leafmans?
Leafmans.
Leifmans. Maybe you said it. Maybe I understood wrong. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't want to spend $20 on 2 bottles of beer, so I went with this one because I'd never had it before. It's a good beer.
I thought it was a good one. Was Cascades Cherry Kriek as well.
Where did you get that? Trade?
No, we get that here once in a while.
Do we get Cascade here?
Oh man, yeah, we've gotten the blueberry, the Figaro, apricot. I've had over here at some local bottle shops. That was a good. I know that was a really good Kriek. I mean, I wish if I had the bottle still, I would have definitely brought that out for tonight.
Yeah.
That was good if anyone else had that. But that's a very solid representation.
Gil, what's that one place you went to in Colorado that had 50 million sours?
Oh.
Was it Kriek Stave?
Full guy here.
Was it Kriek Stave?
Yeah.
Did they have any lambics?
Yes. They have a couple. I'm not sure if they were call Lambic any of them. They've called most sours. I'm trying to remember. I had too many, and there have so many. I mean, I never saw so many sour beer in one chalkboard. That was crazy. They probably had 25 beers, 25 sours on tap. Plus it was their anniversary, like their batch release stuff. So it was, I think probably some of the best sours I ever had. Crooked Stave. If you go to Denver, it's worth the trip.
They make some good beers. I've had a few of theirs.
So speaking to the brewing process for Lambics, I mean, all of even though most of us are drinking flavored beers, I think they all start as Charles's first beer, right? And then they kind of blend fruit juice, the juice from these fruits into that beer. No?
They re-fermented, I think, after they put the fruit in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think they just call it unblended before they put fruits or stuff on it.
So lambics are spontaneously fermented, right?
Yes.
So these in Belgium, when they brew these beers, they brew them in these things called cool ships.
Yep.
It's a big open vat. They usually have them in these in their I was just going to say they have them in their breweries. No top on them. Open up the vents in the top of the brewery and just let whatever wild Belgian yeast happen to be floating in the pristine Belgian air at the time come and do the work that they need to do to get the fermentation going in this beer. And they get that base beer and then they use it as a blend, kind of like, for lack of a better expression, what oh my goodness, the Lafayette, New Belgium.
Yeah. But see, Allagash does co-ship here in the U.S. Anchor Brewing does. I think Jester King, if I'm not wrong, do.
Yep.
But I know in Europe there's some places that they use like those limestone underground cave, because the limestone also, it's kind of give an extra big thing.
And for the lambic, it's mostly wheat, and it's a malted barley and unmalted barley combined. It's about 60-40, 70-30 ratio.
And Blue Jacket here in DC has a cool ship as well. So
how they do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much wild yeast is floating around in the DC air. Might be wild yeast mixed with some other stuff. No,
those things go crazy. They foam and they just spill off.
Yeah, Omegang has an open fermenter as well, and that thing foams all over the place.
I think I might try that.
Yeah, that Leafman's Kriek you mentioned, Randy, the red one. That's
the one wrapped for Christmas.
Yeah, that's actually part of the base beer for Omegang's Three Philosophers.
Oh, really?
They brew a Belgian quad, and then they blend it with Leafman's Kriek, and that's what Three Philosophers is.
And I'm going to get Three Philosophers tomorrow.
One of my favorite beers from the...
Yeah, that's really good. Yep.
So right about now, the closest that we can get to Belgium just joined us in the Hangout.
Yay, Forrest!
I'm guessing that hand motion lets me know that he's probably taking a cage off of a bottle. So he's about to uncork it. Boris, you're muted. I don't know if you.
He looks frozen on my screen.
You're muted.
Yeah, I know I was muted.
Okay. So what?
I muted myself on purpose.
Can you hold that bottle up again, Boris?
Yep. This is Hansen's Artisanal
Experimental
Lambic Raspberry.
Look at
I
you
love
just
that
putting us to
label.
shame with all that it's fancy writing on your bottle.
Are you a Lambic fan, Boris?
Boris went straight to the home.
School us, Boris. Tell
Boris,
us.
did you pick that up in Belgium?
I picked it up in Bruges. Yep.
Are you a Lambic fan?
Am I a Lambic fan? No, I hate Lambics.
Joke. That bottle, you want us to call the police on that bottle? Oh, you got it.
The Brew Dogs episode, the race through Belgium. They show a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
Lift it
That
up,
was a
Boris.
good
Lift
episode.
it up. Lift it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of open fermentation footage.
if you haven't seen
Pretty.
the Brewdog series yet, get cracking on it. It's good stuff. It's very entertaining, and also, I mean, they do some crazy stuff with beer. So
They actually brew stuff on the show, right? It's not a show about the brewery. Yeah.
right.
So
All right, Boris.
much like many lambics, there's practically zero head on it.
Mm-hmm.
I even poured it straight down the middle. I mean, I poured it slow, but still. Yeah, very little head. It's hard to see because I have natural warm lighting in here, but it's pretty ruby reddish. I don't know if that comes off any better.
Mm-hmm.
So from the smell of the smell of the cork, it's pretty funky, and so is this one. Ooh,
It's like
very funky.
Charles said the first whiff he got off of his regular lambic,
God.
he said it was almost like diarrhea.
Yeah. Oh my God.
His mustache frisked a little bit there.
I was like, what?
Oh my.
Delish.
Ooh. Yeah,
Good.
very, very acidic.
Okay.
Almost zero sweetness in this one.
That's different for a framboise, though, right? I mean, you typically.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. I mean, this is experimental. I don't know what makes it experimental. Maybe it's the fact that they used real raspberries instead of like sugaring it up.
Sugaring up, yeah. Syrup.
That's why I've consistently tell people if they post something in the community, if they ask about Lindemans, I'm always telling them, I'm like, honestly, I don't buy Lindemans except for the Cuvée Rene, because everything of their fruited lambics, it tastes artificial.
Juice.
Yeah, it tastes like candy, and
That's not something real. It's like very syrupy.
it does not. It's not supposed to taste like candy. It's supposed to be soury, very acidic. That's what a real proper lambic is supposed to taste like.
Mm-hmm.
And when it tastes like candy, that means it's not real.
So when you say acidic, are we talking like real raspberry acidic, or are we talking like one of the strains of Brett acidic, or lacto
well, all right,
acidic?
for this beer, I would say real raspberries.
Okay.
But anything else, like the Cuvée Rene, for example, that one, it's not a fruited lambic. There's no fruit in that one. It's just a blend of 3 different lambics, as in spontaneously fermented beers, but without any fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So that one is like just pure acidity, but without the acidity from a fruit. That's all from the yeast, from the funk, from the barrels, just doing their thing, and they make magic in your mouth. So
That's a tagline for a movie.
So, and this is 6%, by the way. I forgot to tell y'all, this is 6%, which is actually higher than most, because most lambics, real ones, are like 5% or lower. All the Lindemann products are like 4% or lower.
I almost just say that I can't consider Lindemann's real lambics. To me, it's just fruit juice that they are bottling.
I mean, it's still a lambic, though. I mean,
it's still a lambic
is, right?
because they probably still use fruit, and it's still spontaneously fermented. The problem is either they can't because they're exported so much to the States or anywhere that they probably can't afford to do it 100% original.
Yeah.
So they gotta cut corners, I guess, is the safest way to put it. I have never bought Lindemans out here. I can't say the stuff that stays in country is different than what gets sent to the States.
I would like to buy one and let me know, because I have not met a person that says, "Oh, really? I love that beer." The farthest I got was people saying, "Yeah, it's okay."
Lola likes it.
I like it, but I understand that it's not.
Lola likes it mixed with High Life, so.
I just love High Life. I'll drink High Life.
Ooh, High Life and what? Mixed with what?
Lindemans.
The Lindemans, framboise. Well, I needed something to give it a little oomph. It's so kind of boring on its own.
Oh, right.
2 hour old high lie, by the
It's
way.
still good high lie.
What?
It holds up.
Get the. You bastardized a 2-hour-old highlight with Lindemans?
Hey man, Lola drinks what she wants to drink, man.
I do what I want to do.
No rules. No
Hulk
rules.
smash.
So hey, look, I think I'm gonna pick up another Cuvée Rene because the last time I had it was definitely over a year now, maybe 2 years, and I know my palate has changed a lot within 2 years time. So I think I may actually pick up another Cuvée Rene and see how my palate agrees or doesn't agree with it.
I will forever say Cuvée is their best American product until I buy something over here from them and see if anything's different. Because I know beers that get sent to the States from overseas, they're brewed like specifically for the U.S. market, and then they brew something for here, and the U.S. market never sees it.
Okay.
Because their interpretation, they're like, oh, it's Americans. They drink Budweiser, Miller Lite, and Coors Light. What do they know about real beer? So they send us, or you guys, the tamer stuff. But now that we're not really like that, because I got a story to tell once we get off air, that they keep the good stuff here. They send you guys the crap stuff.
But Cuvée Rene it's kind of like the traditional. It's kind of true to the style, right?
Yeah, it's just a blended beer, a blended lambic of 3 lambics over somewhere between 3 and 5 years. So the first beer is at least 3 years old. The second beer is like at least 2 years old, and the third beer is a year or less.
Okay.
And so that's where the majority of the slight sweetness, not very acidic, will come from. The other two is where the age and the funk from the barrels will really show its character. I mean, you can choose to age a Rene longer if you want, but I mean, it's already got 3 years worth of beer in it. So I think it's prime as soon as you get it, no matter when you get it.
Word. So, overall thoughts, Boris. What are your overall thoughts on lambics as a whole? I mean, definitely try it.
Yes, I wouldn't use it as a gateway beer to sours.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would use a Cuvée Rene as a gateway to sour, and then could branch off from there, because you're gonna run into sours that are they're gonna suck your face in. They're so sour. Yeah. So, right. And when people don't know what they're getting into, do that, they get turned off from sours, and then they say, "Oh, this is the worst ever. Sours suck. This, that, and another. I'm not paying $9 for a 11-ounce bottle of a sour beer." You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But lambics as a whole, they're starting to make a massive comeback.
But remember in the beginning of the year, what was that? The Wild Friendship blend that Allagash, Russian River, and Cantillon did. They had like just a limited release.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It was like a 2.5-year-old Allagash, 2.5 or 3-year-old Cantillon. I don't even remember what was the Russian River one.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Supplication?
I don't remember how old. Well, they were all over 2 years old age of lambics that they did, and I just know that it was called the Wild Friend. And the people I think from Cantillon called both Allagash and Russian River and say, "Hey, we're gonna do this collab, you guys."
Yeah,
and I remember
if Cantillon calls you to do a collab, you say yes.
Well, I think that's what the guy from Allagash said. He said like he didn't know what to say. He was like, "Yeah." There was something on the interview at the time, but that's something that I would like to try. They only had 1,500 bottles of the.
Oh, that was probably super limited.
It probably was a ticket thing, a ticket release, something like that.
Is Supplication a lambic?
Supplication is just the first sour that popped in my head from Russian River. Okay. I don't think it shouldn't be a lambic. I think it's just a
sour.
Like a brune, an old brune, an old sour Flemish brown.
Old brune. All right. Charles, I know you're muted right now, so I'm gonna talk a little bit to give you a second to get unmuted. But your overall thoughts on lambics?
I'm far more interested in them now. Like I said, originally the only one I've ever had was a few years back, and that was the Lindeman's Pommet or whatever, which I didn't care for. But these two here that I've been enjoying, the Lambic and the Lambic Kriek cherries, I can figure out how to look at myself backwards. Yeah, this, like you said, this is a style that you really have to be in the mood for. At least for me, it's not something I'm going to run out and have very often.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really, really different, and they're really out there. And I think if you get into Belgians and then work your way into like Saison, you know, like get around to like this guy, you know, Saison DuPont, and then from there maybe branch over into like the Lambics. Just, I think it probably helps to have more of a palate for Belgian beers and a palate for sours before you go into the Lambic route. But again, that's just my preference. That's just how I ended up doing it. So I would, if I had tasted these up front without knowing Belgians or sours at all, I'd probably run screaming in the other direction, because I would like, what the hell could this possibly be?
Yeah.
But because I've experimented so much in the last couple of years, particularly because of the Friday Night Hangout, they're really interesting. Wine drinkers looking to explore craft beer, these are some selections I give them.
Cool.
Like the
Gil.
Saison DuPont and the Lambics are the two I'd give like full like wine drinkers. Say, here, try these.
Gotcha.
Interesting you say that, Charles, because sours is what got me into wine.
Cool.
I couldn't drink wine, nothing. Not even like Moscatos or sweet Rieslings. None of that. I couldn't do it. And then once I got really into sours, thanks to the Lips of Fate series from New Belgium, and I'm drawing a La Folie. That was my gateway sour.
Yeah.
I can drink red wines. I prefer the robust red wines, but I can at least now drink them and actually enjoy them.
Yeah.
Solely because of sour beers.
Cool.
I think you have to get used to the dryness and the tartness, and that's how it compares. With
I
wine.
can now get sweet wine. To me, just doesn't work. I just can't. The whole Moscato or what was the other one? The
Riesling.
Yeah, Rieslings and those
Late harvest Riesling.
Yeah, those things. Yeah, if I want a wine, it has to be full-bodied and have that tartness.
Enough of the wine talk on Craft Beer Nation Friday Night Hangout.
We're well-rounded.
Gil, Lambic thoughts, go. 40 seconds.
Yeah, I think there's good ones out there. I like Lambics. I don't love them. I don't mind drinking them. Unfortunately, every time I go to my shop, they only have Lindemans, and but yeah, I think it's a good beer. I don't have any prejudice towards it. I just don't sick it. You don't go after consciously.
Freddie, Lambics, go.
Lambics, going. I like them. I always have. Personally, my palate, they always sat well. I always like, as a child as well, sour patch. I like puckering kind of things. I've always liked that. So I think I tended to like Lambics and these like really more intense sours rather than like a Saison. Almost like what Charles was saying. Almost like the opposite, I guess. Where I went like straight for like the more puckering stuff than milder sours. So I went for the Krieks, the Lambics before that.
Cool. Linda, go.
I would definitely go for what Charles has. If it's dry, it's making me want to take another sip. I want it.
Lola, go.
I think it would be good for a dinner party. If you have like a mixture of people who like wine or may not like beer, it would be good, something that everyone could enjoy.
And my opinion is drink them. You see them, get it, try it. You might like it. If you don't drink it, you'll never know if you like it. But that doesn't just apply to Lambics, that applies to anything. try to keep an open mind as it relates to beer, especially if you've been drinking beer for a while and you remember a particular style that you may not have liked 2 years ago. Try it again. You'll be surprised to see how much your palate has changed in that time frame, and how much you can grow to like a style, especially as you become a little more educated about beer and kind of understand what goes into it, and understand what that particular style is supposed to taste like. You can kind of gain an appreciation for styles of beer that you may not have previously liked, and
or how the breweries have changed.
All right. So
there's nothing wrong of not liking the styles too. You don't have to feel like you have to like every single style of beer.
Right. Do we know what next week's style is gonna be?
We are still celebrating IPA Day.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's a delayed celebration. Yeah.
IPA Day is next Thursday, so be sure to check in your IPA on Untappd to get that IPA Day badge. Ricky Potts looking at you when you watch this video.
Probably already knows.
So be sure to join us next Friday, where I'm sure we'll probably have a full house, simply because it's IPAs.
Yeah.
All of us like IPAs. Well, not all. Well, Linda's just not getting that good appreciation for an IPA.
What do you mean? I spent the whole year learning about IPA.
No, but I'm saying you didn't. There was a time when you didn't like them at all, right?
Oh yeah, when I first started drinking beer, you could not get me to touch an IPA.
There you go. So, next week IPA Day. And it's not relegated to just IPA. Get your IPA. Get your double IPA. Break out a triple. If you find that if you got Ruin 10, break it out. You got Founders Devil Dancer. Come on, bring it. So. Join us next Friday, episode 170, IPA. Until then, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.